the Gambia opens up to the world under the Barrow administration, which is advancing efforts to promote our return to the international scene after the country's isolation in the previous regime. What makes this period an important time to expand bilateral and development cooperation?
Thank you very much, Mr. Silla, for this audience. And I'm sure the intention is to tap into my experience, knowledge, and exposure on not only on diplomacy, but on administration and international issues. Well, the Gambia has since been returned to the international scene when we had a change of government from dictatorship to democracy. So in this period we are in, what is important factors? The consolidation of democracy, the maintenance of peace and security, and stability of the country, and the rule of law, the respect for human rights, our national efforts to develop the country, and also strengthening of our friendly relations with different friendly countries. All these factors put together will help the Gambia to expand its bilateral relations and also multilateral development partners to engage with them fruitfully to the benefit of the country. And I think so far, what I can observe, we are on the right step with the government of Adama Barrow adhering to democratic governance and bringing development to the country and to the doorsteps of the people. I think these are very good images that will enhance the performance of our country in socio-economic advancement.
You just a follow up. Do you think that Barrow is nurturing all those past events that Gambia has lost during the 22 years of dictatorship?
Yes, I think so. The fact that there is the transition has taken place, and now we are in a democratic environment, and the government is observed by even the international community to adhere to democratic governance. That is a credit to the Gambia under the Barrow government, and that alone will motivate the international community to continue to support the Gambia. Definitely.
Okay. Can the Gambia enjoy sustainable socio-economic advancement without effective development cooperation? And what role are partnerships playing in our growth now?
Well, you've already known as a journalist or the media, every time you hear the World Bank, the IMF, coming with interventions to support our balance of payments, to support our budget, and to support our development efforts. I mean, there is increased assistance from the international community coming to the Gambia. That plus our own national efforts generating revenue for development. When you combine our own national mobilization of resources to that of international partners, I think these together certainly puts the Gambia forward and puts us on the right step. But definitely, international assistance to the Gambia has been on the increase as a result of the democratic governance we are pursuing. And definitely, we have seen the government's own efforts to generate funds to expand the development base of the country. So I think these are factors or steps in the right direction, and I hope that it continues.
Why is it crucial to source and draw inspiration from the institutional memories of senior civil servants and administrators who laid the foundation of existing structures?
Yes, that is very important. You know, in other countries that I have worked in, almost about 10 or 11 different countries, you know, those who have served their country in the administrative or technical or diplomatic or professional class and have retired, they retire with those institutional memories, the knowledge, the experience, the competence. So it's always important to tap into those experiences in their, even in their retirement, either to give inputs on a particular sector or to give advice, because that's what they need. They have the knowledge, they have the experience, the capacity to develop the country may not necessarily be all within. So you look for outside to enhance the development efforts of the government. This is very important. I remember a neighboring country, there was an important state visit by a prominent head of state. And when that guy announced that he will visit that neighboring country, that country mobilized all their professional, technocratic skills, both within government and outside, and put up a document together that will be presented to that head of state. And when that was done, that neighboring country received nothing less than $300 million aid as a result of that document that was presented on the needs of the country. But that document was not prepared within alone. No. They had to invite talents and expertise outside to complete that comprehensive document that will be presented, a very sound document on the needs of that particular country. So here also, there is no harm to look into outside experiences, to tap into outside knowledge, to tap into outside expertise, because they are here. We have experts in all aspects of development. We have health experts, we have diplomatic experts, we have scientific experts, we have people who have served their country for many years and served the international community at the highest levels, and they are all here. So it's important for the government to reflect on tapping into those experiences, knowledge, and wisdom of those retirees to beef up the operations. Because you can recall, there was an IMF delegation in the Gambia, and they observed that the administrative capacity is limited, and that is affecting service delivery. Well, how do you enhance administrative capacity for economic development? You have to tap into outside expertise. Not necessarily those inside only, no. You don't have to. If you want things to move, things to improve, service delivery to be okay, and you don't have it inside, look for it outside. There is no harm. At the end of the day, it's all Gambians, all geared towards what is good for our country. So I think it is time, seriously, for government to always reflect on those with the wisdom, knowledge, experience, and the competence in their retirement to source their inputs into certain government policies and decisions.
Do you think this present government of Paro is abiding by that, to hire expertise outside like Gambians and within the country as well?
Well, I'm not sure who they are talking to or who they are engaging in what. I'm not sure. I know that I have seen some expatriates come in and out of the country on different assignments, but I am sure there are competent and qualified Gambians with the necessary skills who can do the job that this government wants, and probably at no cost, just as a service to the country. This is it. They have them here. So I know many of them have opened their own consultancy offices and they are doing consultancy works. They react to newspaper advertisements and they offer their consultancy services to different institutions. But as a government, I have not seen where a group of retired Gambians are invited either in a forum or in a council to advise the government on certain sectorial development. I have not seen it, but probably it's happening and not to our knowledge. But I'm sure if there is a need for such, and that is recognized by the government, they will not hesitate to go for them. I am sure about that. Because at the end of the day, every government wants to succeed. And government alone cannot do or know everything. So if the knowledge and the expertise is outside in the country here, why not go for it? I think it's better. I think if this government wants to do so, there should be nobody inside to try to block those efforts. No. If you don't have the capacity inside, but the capacity is outside within the country, why not go for it? At the end of the day, for the Gambia to move ahead should be everybody's concern. I think this is very important that we get that message right.
The Gambia's development partners around the world are committing more support to the country's growth. What role will diplomacy play in the realization of our national objectives?
Well, it's very important when you see the international community coming forth to support the Gambia, especially in the times in which we live. You know, these are troublesome times. These are very difficult times economically all over the world, not only Gambia. You know, the whole world was affected by COVID. The world economy was badly damaged. And then the situation was aggravated more by the Russian-Ukraine war, which also has threatened food security in many countries. So in the light of these difficulties, this is the time for the Gambia to flex her diplomatic muscles in the international community to bring as many dividends as possible to the country. And to bring dividends to the country during these times in which we live can only be through diplomatic economic foresight. It's very important. I think efforts are being made in that direction because we have seen the OIC projects and the mobilization of resources coming to help Gambia realize the project. And we have also seen the efforts of, for example, the First Lady goes to the outside world, try to get help to the Gambia in the health sector, in the social welfare sector, and in many other active fields of endeavor. So efforts are being made, and all these are considered as diplomatic efforts to help Gambia move forward. So the more we intensify those diplomatic efforts, the more dividends that will come to the country, I believe. So diplomacy is a very important aspect of moving this country.
How would you get the country's current diplomacy?
Well, it's important that all those who are going to work in the diplomatic field or in the foreign service are given the necessary training, induction before they leave, so that when they go abroad, they will know how diplomatic pursuits are conducted. They will know how to conduct themselves in the diplomatic field. Once they have that orientation here, I think it will enhance their performance. So it's important that those in the foreign ministry, those in the diplomatic service are given continuous orientation in the field to enhance their understanding of the international environment and also their conduct in the international environment. So this is what should be done. And I think if that is done, then we are on the safe ride.
Recently, we have witnessed the government sign an MOU with Africa 50 with regards to the recycling of the Senegambia bridge. What is your take on this recent action by the government?
Yeah, there has been lots of confusion and noise about the recycling of Senegambia Bridge or the mortgage of Senegambia Bridge or whatever they call it, you know. But this is a request for an infrastructure support to the Gambia. The money that the government will receive from Africa 50 is an infrastructure project money. It is not necessarily going to the Consolidated Revenue Fund or to support the government budget or to increase the salaries of government officers. No. As a government, they have a role to continue to expand the infrastructural base of this country. Roads, bridges, electricity, and certain health infrastructure. So everything cannot be conducted in the context of a budget that is limited, that should serve other sectors of the economy. So there has to be ways and means of getting extra funds that will focus primarily on strengthening the infrastructure base of this country. And I think that's what the government is doing. It is for the development of the Gambia. And the president himself had said that politics is over. It is time to work to develop this country. That's what is most important, and that's why they have a mandate to be in office. Well, how do you develop this country? You cannot develop this country all with your own resources. You have to find money outside to develop the country. But this time, they are looking for money that will be specifically based on expanding the infrastructure base of this country. It's not going anywhere else. It's going to roads, it's going to electricity, it's going to health infrastructure, it's going to bridges. Nowhere else. It's not money that is spent, that will be used for pockets, or that will be used for Consolidated Revenue Fund, or to support government budget. No. So for me, that's the way I see it. There is a need to expand the infrastructure base of this economy. And everything cannot be done within the context of the national budget. And so there must be ways and means of getting money to do so, and this is one aspect. And I think the government is too serious to just take our bridge and give it away like that. No, come on. I don't think so.
So in your own opinion, you think it's a wise decision for government to do such?
It is a wise decision for government to find funds to expand the infrastructure base of this economy.
The current living condition of the country, I know many are complaining because of the income of many Gambian people. What is your assessment of the current state of the Gambian economy?
Well, the current state of the Gambian economy has been subject of discussion all over. But the problem is, we have to understand that we came out of a very difficult global situation, and that is COVID-19. And apart from that came the Russia-Ukraine war. That also has its devastating impacts on the trading or on the world economy. So it is very difficult for economists to adjust to these two situations by improving the living standards of their people, because foreign exchange is difficult to come by. To get the essential commodities is difficult to get. And even if you have them very expensively. What used to cost $10 before, now is costing $50. So it has not been easy for any country between these two international crisis to manage the economy. We hear protests in other countries, even in our neighborhood, about the high cost of living. It's not only Gambia, so it has affected everybody in the world, all the countries. So now, the issue is, how do we get out of it? One, I think, in my honest view, I think this government should bring back a national trading corporation as we used to have in the First Republic, NTC. When you bring back the national trading corporation, let it have the full backing of the state in terms of its requirements for foreign exchange to bring all essential commodities in the country, and you make sure that it is managed by people who are serious, who are business knowledgeable, and that the branches are operating in all the regions of the Gambia as it used to happen before. And because the state it is state intervention, the prices of essential commodities must come down. Because the fact is, the business environment is dominated by foreigners. Nobody can deny that. So, and we cannot tell the foreigners, get out of our country. But we can come up with means that would pose a challenge to those private sector operators by serious indigenization of our economy. And one way of it is to establish our own national trading company, give it all the necessary backing in terms of foreign exchange, in terms of customs relief, and let them bring all essential commodities in the country and sell it below the current market price. If anybody cannot compete, then you will be out of business. But Gambians will have access to cheaper goods that have been enabled by their own government. I think this is my own way of seeing things. Otherwise, it will take time before the conflicts in the world resolve, particularly Ukraine-Russia war. It will take time. We don't know whether COVID will come back or not. So what is safer for us is to make sure that we have our own means in place to tackle the high cost of living. But most importantly is for us to focus on the growth centers of the economy: agriculture, fisheries, and tourism. Once we focus on the growth centers, these are the productive sectors of the economy that can give self-sufficiency in food, that can enable us to export and to earn the necessary foreign exchange, which will also put down, ameliorate the situation in terms of our ordering goods from abroad. So these are three areas that we must really focus on. We have to, these are the growth centers of the economy: tourism, fisheries, and agriculture. I think whatever happens, we should continue to give priority to these three sectors and make sure that the necessary growth comes from them and sustainable development will follow as a result of these three sectors. In the long term, this is our solution. But otherwise, cost of living will continue to be very high, and it will continue to make people angry, and they will put all the blame on the government, not knowing that the government can hardly have a way of handling it because the problems are beyond the Gambia and it's affecting every other country in the world.
You just pinpoint three sectors that the government should look into, that is agriculture, fishery, and tourism. And I know that areas has been a focus for during Jawara's regime. So do you think, how do you see that? Do you think the Barrow government is giving attention to those sectors?
Yes, it is giving attention to, I know, particularly agriculture, it is giving attention to agriculture. You've heard about the Roots project. That is to help the small farmers in the Gambia to increase their production. The Roots project you've heard about the Chinese intervention in rice in the URR, And recently also you have heard about the coming of the Koreans with a massive rice agriculture project in the country. So these are all national efforts intended to ensure self-sufficiency and nutritional security for this country. Definitely, there are efforts by the government to bring about food security to the country, and I have named all these projects that are happening. And now with the intervention of Koreans and Chinese, we can look forward to Gambia becoming self-sufficient in food in the near future. No doubt about it.
Yeah, but those you just mentioned, those are foreigners. But what do you think the government should do to motivate its own citizen to venture into agriculture in order to make us food sufficient?
Yeah, actually, the problem is even without the government, there are rich, wealthy Gambians who could have made sure that this country has enough food, but they don't invest in agriculture. In other countries, the wealthy people are the farmers. But here, the wealthy people are not farmers. They are probably into something else, but not agriculture. If they had invested in agriculture, then we would not be where we are today. So agriculture is left entirely in the hands of the government. And what the government can do is to create the enabling environment through different donor support and through friendly countries to ensure that the country has food security, and that is taking place right now. This is the situation.
Let's talk about the Aki syndrome now. It has been a national outcry, leading to death of 71 children. And recently, government just released a report on that, taking action, leading to the seizure of some senior medical officers, their license, and also dismissal of some senior officials. What is your take with regards to that?
Well, some action is better than no action. The people have been complaining about the deaths of these children as a result of the acute kidney injury, and that something must be done about it. And you will recall the government therefore set up a commission of inquiry into the matter, and they have since submitted their report to the president, and that report now is being implemented. So we have seen the evidence of it recently when certain measures were taken against those who were responsible, and then government is going to further take action against the Indian company. So something is being done about it. So I think that should be able to satisfy the population to some extent, because no one can now claim that nothing is being done about it. Something is being done about it, and who knows, maybe even there is more to come. So it's just that people sometimes are impatient or in a hurry and want to say bam, 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 bam on everything. But the days of bam, 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 bam are over. We have a president who will not, overexercise his power on Gambians. No. He's very kind and soft. He knows the situation we came out of for the past 22 years. If he wants to add more bam, 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 bam every day, I hope we will all survive. We all would have been dead by now. So they have to understand, So sometimes it's very difficult when you want to adhere to democratic governance, and at the same time, people are pushing you to tendencies that might at the end be dictatorial or crude leadership. It's not safe. So let us allow things to fall in place, and we have seen action is being taken and maybe more to come. So we should all be patient and just see how things will unfold. But the fact that they have started doing something about it means that government had taken into account the concerns of the people, and especially those who are affected. And I'm sure more to come, because the Indian company is being sued by government. Yeah, if that is successful, the reward will go to help the victims, the families of the victims. So I think we should just be a little bit patient and allow government to pursue this matter, and I'm sure it will be done in the national interest. Yeah.
And let's talk about the security reform. We have just seen governments set up a security sector reform or unit under at the office of the president. What is your take on that process?
Well, the security reform sector, I think the process is ongoing. I don't know how far it has gone, because here, unless people see evidently an action, they would not understand what it means, security sector reform means. You know, it could be that reforms are taking place, but maybe not too openly. And so many people believe that it's not a serious matter or something like that. But it is certainly part of the agenda of this government to reform the security sector. And this is why you've seen the UN people coming in and out. You've seen the Turkeys coming, you know, and recently another country has come up to join efforts to beef up our security sector. So efforts are being made in that direction. It's not an easy process. Well, it's not an easy process. People think that if you say security sector reform, it means getting rid of the army. You know, it's wider than that. It entails a lot. Security sector reform entails a lot. It's not only the army, it entails a lot of security issues. And as far as I know, the program is ongoing, and hopefully government recognizes that it is part of their agenda since the beginning, and so it has to be done. Let's hope for the best.
And finally, before I wrap up, you are a well-experienced diplomat. You have served under the Jawara regime and Jammeh regime. And I know you are retired but not tired. But are you willing or ready to serve this government also if we are hired? And what is your final message to Gambians, particularly this government?
Well, for me, I have served my country for over 38 years in various fields, at the administrative level, at the district authority level, at the central government level, in the diplomatic service. I've seen it all. I have served my country for some 39 years with a clean record, no doubt about it. And I have always performed whichever position I was in this country. And particularly when I was the Dean of the Diplomatic Service, I achieved more than any diplomat. And the evidences are there. Many know. So really, my advice is that we have to be dedicated. We have to be committed. We have to be patriotic. We have to put country before self in moving this Gambia forward. When there is a development, the name of the president is not written on it. You will not go to Union Airport and you find Yahya Jammeh's name there. You will not go to Bass's Bridge, you find Adam Barrow's name there. It's all for Gambia. So people must see the country first before self. And so whichever position one is in government, inside the Gambia or outside the Gambia, you should be reflective of the fact that you are a developing country, you are a poor country, and you need to advance, you need to develop, and that can only happen with your sincerity, patriotism, expertise, professionalism, and loyalty to the country. And you should work hard. It's only hard work that will make the country flourish. Empty talks will take us nowhere. Only hard work will make the country flourish. And so Gambians must bear this in mind. If there is a felt need for development X to take place, whether it's this government or another government, they will all have to look forward to doing that. So if we have the chance now, why not? Why not? And do you know the reason why the provincial Gambia is 100% in favor of this government? Is because the government, they have seen that this government has brought development to their doorsteps. And the same thing is coming in Greater Urban Gambia. The developments are coming. You've had the inauguration of Jambur electricity project. You have seen the OIC roads infrastructure coming to take place. Efforts are being made to beef up the electricity situation of the country. So development is also spreading in urban Gambia. At the end of the day, we all want Gambia to succeed. We all want Gambia to develop. So if we don't encourage and support this government for Gambia to move forward, any other government that comes also will run into the same desire of developing this country and would expect support of the people. So we might as well give that support to this current government so that our country is looked upon as a developed country, and development partners will continue to give us the necessary support which they are doing, and we'll all be at peace. So we forget about all this noise and we focus on national development. At least is better. We have gone through all the things: local government election, presidential election, parliamentary election. All those electoral cycle is over. Yeah. It's over. So what do we want? What we want now is development. So let us all focus on that. It calls for concerted efforts, not only government, but as well as private sector and also citizens to all come together and push for this country to go forward. That's the only way out. We cannot envy other countries and then we don't want to know how they got there. They got there through hard work. It makes the country flourish. So let us also all engage on hard work and sincerity and be supportive. It's not a climate of intimidation. There is no climate of fear. There is no climate of intimidation. There is democratic governance. That's what we prayed for, and we are in it. So what else? As far as I'm concerned, what else do we need?
Thank you for your time. Thank you, and God bless you. Yeah.